Jesus Freak here. So, yesterday I was randomly taking pictures of some of my Bibles and shared them in my chat rooms and on Failbook. And I figured, I haven't done a sort of show you some of my Bibles, sort of a look through my library, so to speak, in a few years. Don't mind this pieces of meat on the table. Well, my cat nibbles on them sometimes and then just leaves them. Now, I've been a bit of a pack rat. It's probably a combination of autism and childhood trauma. Anyway, let's take a peek. Let's work from the left here to the right. In this first shot, we have a Holman New Testament with Psalms, a Gideon New Testament with Psalms and Proverbs, a Cambridge Tbs Royal Ruby, a Nelson checkbook Bible. Remember checkbooks? It's about the same size as a checkbook. I haven't had to use a checkbook in over a decade, so. A TBS Cambridge personal size Concord. A Cambridge Emerald with all the printing worn off, because the gold printing on there just rubs off easily. A Edition Rsv. Most of my Bibles are KJVs, so if I don't mention a version, it's going to be a KJV. A Nelson Thin Line KJV Reference Bible. A Cambridge Cameo Large Print Text. A Nelson Giant Print Reference Thin Line. A Nelson Sovereign, which I call the Canterbury Killer because it's basically a cheaper version of the Canterbury. The current version of the Holman Study Bible. An NPC Family Faith and Values Bible. This is also published by Trinitarian under another name. NPC makes Gideon Bibles. They're probably, more famous for that. A Hendrickson Interlinear Bible with J.P. Green's translation. And Great Sites facsimile of the 1769 edition, which first used Benjamin Blaney's revision of the KJV text. And now looking at these other pictures I got are just random. The first one was kind of size, ranked by size. But I did these others later. The first is a facsimile copy of the Novum Instrumentum, the first edition of Erasmus' New Testament. It's Greek-Latin bilingual. The next is a Zondervan Rsv Reference Bible. In, I believe, a cowhide. Then a Cambridge Pitmanion. A TBS RVSRT, RVSBT Spanish New Testament, a Nelson Christian Life New Testament, a Nelson NKJV New Testament Dwarsader, and yes, I know it's upside down, a Dutch Statenvertaling translation. I can't pronounce the name of the publisher, but it's affiliated with the TBS. Then it's a TBS Brazil Portuguese Bible, a TBS, I believe it's a Windsor, a Classic Schofield, Nelson Imperial Reference Bible, a 5th edition Thompson Chain, a Schuyler Traveris, a Worthy Press 4 Gospels for Journaling and the corresponding Psalter, a rebind by Bo Tate of a 1960s RSV from World that comes from the predecessor of the United Methodist Church, and Oxford Revere Blackface, which is still published by R.L. Allen, a Holman Reina Valera 60 Compact Reference Bible, an Open Bible, a God's Glory Bible, a Precious Moments Nueva Biblia Dia Spanish Bible. I don't want this translation, it's highly paraphrastic, and I think it might be a cross-translation. A Jehovah Witness Bible, yeah, I know. Well, it's just in case I run into a Jehovah Witness. It's an older edition, it's not the current one. Zondervan's Homeschooling Mom's Bible, a 1st edition RSV, and a facsimile of an Oxford Brevier Clarendon Apocrypha. Here we have, from the left, an A.W. Tozer Devotional Bible, another Reina Valera 60 Bible. It says it's a study Bible, it's not. It has book introductions and outlines, that's it. Otherwise, it's just a reference Bible. We have a Common Man's Reference Bible. I believe it's the 4th edition. Which, it's the 3rd edition. This is a terrible study Bible. Do not buy it. It's full of bad notes, bad exegesis, racism, Anglocentrism, and pretty much anything you find in a chick tract is going to be here. A Tyndale large print Bible, a Life Application Study Bible, which is interesting because it's a paragraph Bible, a personal size open Bible, 3 Cambridge cameos. Left one's from the 60s, middle one's from the 50s, and I think the right one is from the 70s. That's a Mormon one, the one on the right. That's water buffalo leather, but it's dried out from age. Then some El Generico Family Bible, a Nelson Family Bible with a prompted notes section. Pastor Brett and I did a review of it on his channel not too long ago. Yet another Reina Valera and a Nelson RVR 77. That's their Reina Valera revision. An Iron Spottiswood Royal Ruby. And a Holman Summary Bible. Alright, let's look at this fourth picture. We have another 5th edition Thompson chain. This one's from Kirkbride before they sold themselves to Zondervan. The Zondervan version is identical to the Kirkbride except for the ink. The red letter is much easier on the eyes. A Ryrie Study Bible. An AMG NASB 77. If you're going to use an NASB, use a 71, a 73, or a 77. Don't use a 95 if you could help it, and heaven help you if you use the 2020, but 77 is good. A Tbs Westminster. This one's old enough, is still printed by Youngblood. I believe to save money they've moved to Print Corp in Belarus. A Cambridge Clarion, which is a paragraph Bible. An ABS paragraph Bible, which is not a pure KJV. It's partially modernized, but not heavily so. 2 Spirit-Filled Life Bibles. There's an NKJV and a KJV. That's from the guy who wrote Majesty, Worship His Majesty. That one. An Orthodox Study Bible. This is Greek Orthodox bias and uses a Septuagint for the Old Testament instead of the Masoretic, which it's interesting on that account alone. I have an earlier edition of this somewhere that's just New Testament and Psalms that was given to me by my dad. A Church Bible Publishers Note Taker. This Bible has a bunch of notes in it, but I have yet to anywhere near fill it up. A Harper Study Bible Rsv. Was the first RSV I managed to pick up. Yep, that's a Collins. It doesn't say it anywhere, but that's a Collins Bible. It's a KJV, and it's a family Bible with the Apocrypha. But because it didn't have italics and didn't have references, it didn't quite fit what I was looking for at the time. And yet another Thompson chain. This one's in Spanish and has a Reina Valera 60 translation. A Collins RSV. And the previous version of the KJV Study Bible. From Holman. Now this isn't everything, but I did, after I had taken those 4 pictures, I wound up finding even more Bibles. And this isn't even the rest of it. There's a Zondervan KJV Study Bible, an Ancient Modern Bible, which Nelson lacks a bit of discernment when deciding whose notes to include in there, so some of the notes are problematic. There's a 4th edition Thompson chain, I like the 4th edition's typesetting better than the 5th. Century is a terrible font. A Bearing Precious Seed Milford Pew Bible. As is Bearing Precious Seed Milford, because it's Bearing Precious Seed Shelbyville. I can't remember what they're called. Oh, I got a Bible. There's here somewhere. There's Bearing Precious Seed Lansing, which is local church Bible publishers. There's Bearing Precious Seed in Cadillac, Michigan, which is church Bible publishers. And there's probably other Bearing Precious Seeds produce and sell Bibles. They're all KJVO. New King James Faith Life Study Bible. A rebind that I did of a World Masonic Bible. I stripped out the Masonic stuff in the front and tore off the cover and put a new one on. Confraternity version, it's a reprint that I did. This is a Catholic translation. The last one before Second Vatican, and before they decided to switch to the original languages. The CSB Fisher of Men Bible. When I did a review of the Spanish Fisher of Men Bible, I actually got a comment from the editor. I wish Holman had published this in the KJV. Here's another Cambridge Emerald. I believe it's rebound by Bradford Taliaferro. I actually traded a hardback version, like the one I showed with the worn out text, although it was brand new and still in shrink wrap, for that one, which is rebound, I believe, in buffalo leather, as in bison. A Holman Ultra Slim Reference Bible. A Zondervan Nueva Biblia de las Americas Giant Print Reference Bible. 2K Denmark. It's got the references at the bottom of the page. A Zondervan La Biblia de las Americas. The main difference between the two is that the original La Biblia de las Americas is in Castilian Spanish for some reason, and uses vosotros. The new version doesn't. A Winston 500th Anniversary Edition with Christian Worker Resources. I believe that if it's 500th anniversary, it's probably of the invention of the Gutenberg press, given the date of 1946. A Holman Thin Line New King James Reference, verse by verse, which is a reprint of a Nelson block. I have a Nelson edition here somewhere. And a Church Bible Publishers Pew Bible that's a cameo text. This was, both Bibles and partial Bibles. There's an Apocrypha in there I threw in just to throw a little curve. And one of the other Bibles has an Apocrypha in it too. No, two of them do. There's a couple New Testaments, some with Psalms, Proverbs, both. There's Gospels only, there's Psalms only. I'll readily admit, I have way too many. But most of these are, they're too tacky to give away. Or a couple of them I use for certain special purposes. And it's good to have, at least one of a different version, Most of my Bibles, you see in the KJV, you got NASBs, RSVs, ESVs. And I've shown some weird stuff. Might not even agree with stuff like that. And I showed some of my foreign language Bibles. Anyway, I just thought I'd do that. Make a video about that. Jesus freak out.